On digital radio and 1089 and 1053 AM.
The Two Mics on Talk Sport.
Good afternoon and welcome to Wembley. We're the Two Mics and we'll be keeping you right on top of things ahead of the EFL Cup final right here live on Talk Sport. Jose Mourinho wants to win every tournament he's in, and this could be the beginning of a massive haul of trophies for him at Manchester United. But could Southampton ruin his plans in a competition they've never won? 08717 22 33 44. We'll also be checking in with White Hart Lane, where Spurs are taking on Stoke, and of course we'll let you know if there are any goals going in at the Norwich-Ipswich Old Farm Derby. There was a goal, but it's been disallowed. You're listening to the EFL Cup Final Special with the Two Mics live from Wembley on Talk Sport. This is Talk Sport. We are the Two Mics. We are live from Wembley Stadium. We're just opposite it. Mike Parry is here. A very, very good afternoon to you, Mr. Parry, and welcome to the home of national football.
Well, absolutely right, Mike. It's great to be here today, isn't it? And I have to say, my heart skips a beat of happiness every time I come to Wembley.
You should be careful about that, because only 1/3 of your heart works, to be honest.
That's absolutely true, but I keep it under control. But I have to say...
Presumably it skips a beat quite often.
No, it doesn't. You just shut up while I set the scene.
Yeah,
for
why
our
don't you tell us what you can see from this marvellous vista?
We're in the Hilton Hotel,
yes.
and I could almost reach out of the windows if the windows open, which they don't.
Yeah, so you can't.
And, so I can't, that's right. And touch Wembley Stadium opposite. Yeah. It is magnificent.
Yes.
It is the best stadium in the world.
Yeah.
That guy Rogers who built it, right, and put that arch on it.
Brendan Rodgers built Wembley.
No, Sir.
I'm telling you.
Somebody Rogers built it, didn't he? He's built a lot of big buildings.
Norman Foster, you think?
Norman Foster. His
name is not Rodgers.
Well, whatever. And this fantastic arch, which starts just about sort of 100 metres to my right,
yes,
and then loops over the building.
Yeah, how far would you say the span of the arch is?
I know what it is. It's 360 metres altogether, up and down. Yeah, absolutely.
I'll check that.
And what I'm saying is now we are at the level now in the Hilton where we're looking straight at the sort of, the footpath level on the edge of the stadium. Now, what I can also see, of course, because most of Wembley Stadium is glass, I'm looking right through the windows, and the corporate hospitality.
Well, the windows are all glass, certainly.
Yeah,
the rest of the structure is not glass at all.
It's just about to start up, right? And that means that all the bars, the restaurants, that the biggest restaurant in London, in terms of its size of its roof, is inside Wembley Stadium.
Is that right?
Do you know that? Yeah.
How many people does it seat?
About 1,000 or something like that.
The kitchen must be busy.
Sorry?
The kitchen must be busy.
Kitchen will be very busy indeed. Yeah. So as I'm looking at you now, we've got the arch of Wembley Stadium, we've got Wembley Stadium itself. To my left, of course, the Bobby Moore statue. And that's something else which always brings a tear to my eye.
Does it? Yes.
Because that man, of course, was the man who set the imprimatur for achievement and success in English football.
I would have thought that one of the things that brings a tear to your eye is that you've never been this close to a hospitality section of a stadium without actually being in it.
Well, that is a factor to consider. I was, in fact, offered a seat or two in one or two of the restaurants inside Wembley today, but I'm not a Manchester United fan, I'm not a Southampton fan, I'm not going to take anybody else's seat.
And at what stage of this tournament did Everton get knocked out?
Early, I'm afraid, against Norwich, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah, at home.
Who are you? They're playing there right now, actually. There was a goal up there at Carrow Road, but it got disallowed.
Well, that is fantastic to know that it's the East Anglian Derby today, because there was one season, of course, when Norwich got here, and I think John Bond was the manager.
Oh, was he?
The man of the white suit.
Yes.
And I think they were playing Villa that year. I think it was 75 or I think it was. And the Villa fans were very cruel.
Yes.
They all massed at Euston Station where would it be? Liverpool Street Station. As the Norwich fans came in. And as they came off the train, they'd never been to Wembley before. Right. They all gave them the ooh-ah, ooh-ah, ooh-ah.
Who are you?
Started chucking carrots at them and all that kind of stuff.
Bad news, by the way, for old Who Are You? They lost yesterday, didn't they?
QPR. They did, I'm afraid. But they had a good victory during the week. They beat Wolverhampton Wanderers.
They did. That's true. Yeah, Ian Holloway is not doing too badly.
Let's get back to where we are now.
Southampton were here in '79, weren't they?
They were here in '79.
For the League Cup final.
League Cup final lost 3-2 to Nottingham Forest,
that's right.
I recall.
Yeah, second win in a row for Nottingham Forest back then.
Second win in a row. You're absolutely right. Now let's just get back to where we are now. We are on Wembley Way, just to the right of Wembley Way.
We're just past the arena, aren't we?
We're just past the arena. Despite the fact that Wembley, the new Wembley, is 3 times the size of the old Wembley, and of course it's a much more magnificent structure.
Yes.
Wembley Way's not been lost, and I love it. I love the fact that we came out of Wembley Park Station this morning, we walked up Wembley Way, and the atmosphere already then, 2 or 3 hours ago, was building.
Yes.
And it is a magnificent occasion. Manchester United fans will be pretty used to this sort of thing, although they'll be glad that they're back at Wembley finals after their fallow years.
This very hotel that we are in houses the Manchester United team.
It certainly does.
And they've been here so often that they've got frequent flyer miles from being here.
Well, you're absolutely probably right. But for Southampton, of course, it is a great thrill. Now, if I told you, and I was quite surprised when I looked at these facts and figures, the rise of Southampton in the last 6 or 7 years is spectacular.
Yes.
In 2010, and I've seen some Southampton fans this morning who are still sporting the scarves. In 2010, they came here and won the Johnson Paint Trophy.
Did they?
They beat Carlisle 4-1.
Yeah.
They were in the 3rd tier of English football, and one young man who scored from that day was Lallana.
Mr. Adam Lallana.
Adam Lallana,
who's just signed a new contract at Liverpool.
That's right. And since then, of course, they've done extremely well. They've had 2 of the best managers in English football take control of their team, Poch and Everton's current manager, Mr. Koeman.
Mr. Koeman, yes.
And so, their return to the heights has been, quite dramatic.
Not only have they had all their best players poached off them, they've had their best managers poached off them as well. But this guy, Claude Puel, seems to be doing quite a good job.
Puel's doing a very good job indeed. They're an established Premiership team now, and when you think that they were battling here in the Johnson's Paint Trophy just 7 years ago, that's a remarkable achievement. So I have
bad news,
a feeling,
though, for Southampton fans, is that you've tipped them to possibly win.
I have a feeling.
Jinx could kick in at any time.
I have a feeling. Having said that, of course, what we mustn't forget is that when Jose Mourinho first came to this country as the manager of the European champions Porto and told everybody he was the special one, he had to do something pretty damn quick to back that up. And what did he do in his first season?
Well, what you mean when he was at Porto?
No, when he was here at Chelsea.
Well, Chelsea won the League Cup, didn't he?
Exactly. His first trophy he ever won was in the League Cup.
Well, I was saying in the opener...
I think that means a lot to
It does, and I was saying in the opener, he wants to win everything that he's playing in, right? He wants to win the FA Cup, he's not going to win the Premier League this year, but he wants to win this, and I think it could be the beginning of a very long period of trophy winning for Jose Mourinho at Man United.
You think it'll be the start of another glorious chapter?
I think it will, a bit of an era.
Yeah, I think it would be absolutely foolish to write Southampton off. I mean, they've got here by beating every other team in the competition bar one. Who's to say that they won't today have their day in the sunshine?
Indeed.
Although I have to say, not a lot of sunshine around at Wembley. Very grey, very grey, very overcast. I prefer Wembley bathed in sunshine. Been to so many Wembley finals here when it's been bathed in sunshine. It's not bathed in sunshine.
Well, that's because it's the FA Cup and it's played in the summer.
Well, it's not. It's played in May, isn't it?
That's the summer.
No, spring.
You think May is the spring, do you?
I also like the Charity Shield because that is played in summer. That's sort of played in August.
That's the other reason it's hot then. Anyway, listen, we haven't got a lot of time on this show.
Okay.
It's only 2 hours, right?
Okay, well, don't waste any of it then.
You're waffling, right? Because we've got some great action going on all afternoon, including, of course, Spurs, who are taking on Stoke at 1:30. Jake Robson is at White Hart Lane. Jake.
Hi Mike, Mauricio Pochettino says Tottenham need to be at their best for their final 13 Premier League games, and even though they've only won 1 in 4 in the league, a 1-0 win at home to Middlesbrough, the 3 which they didn't win were all away, and with the Spurs manager saying they need to put Thursday's Europa League exit out of their minds, they'll be glad to be back at White Hart Lane this afternoon, a venue that is about as tough as it gets for visiting teams in the Premier League this season. Well, they're unbeaten here for starters, having won their last 7, and the 32 points picked up at home so far has only been bettered by Chelsea. Indeed, the 5 goals Spurs have conceded at home so far this season is the best by any side in the league, and with only 1 being scored by any visiting team in the last 6 games here, Mark Hughes and Stoke have a tough job on their hands if they're to leave the capital with anything this afternoon. Well, they've won 1 in their last 20 visits to London, which was here in November 2014, and despite a win at Palace last time out, they'd lost their last 4 on their travels before that and have conceded 13 in their last 5 away from home, so you wonder if a second consecutive win on the road is a realistic ambition for Mark Hughes' men this afternoon. The teams that Mauricio Pochettino names the same Spurs side that started the draw with Ghent on Thursday, that saw them knocked out of the Europa League. Laurie starts in goal. Behind Dyer, Alderweireld and Vertonghen, Walker, Wanyama, Dembele and Davies make up the midfield 4. Eriksson and Ali just behind Harry Kane. Stoke are also unchanged from their win at home to Palace in their last outing a fortnight ago. It's Grant in goal, a back 4 of Bardsley, Shawcross, Martins, Indy, Peters, Whelan and Adam in front of them. Just in front of them is Arnautovic, Allen and Sobey just behind Peter Crouch. It's Tottenham against Stoke at White Hart Lane, kick-off at 1:30.
Jake, thank you very much indeed. We're also watching over at Norwich, where Norwich are taking on Ipswich in the local derby, Carrow Road. Tony and Chenzo's there for Talk Sport. Tony.
It's Norwich 0, Ipswich 0 after 56 minutes. We've had a lively start to the second period. Norwich have had a goal disallowed. Houlihan clipped over a corner from the right-hand side, and Mitchell Dykes bundled the ball into the net, but he used his forearm, and it was correctly ruled out. After that, Naismith with a great header for the Canaries, pushed away by goalkeeper Bielkowski, down by the post. Norwich 0, Ipswich 0.
Tony, thanks very much indeed. We'll keep you abreast of anything that happens up there. Of course, we've got loads going on. We are at Wembley. We're live. We are the Two Mics. This is Talk Sport. Welcome back to Wembley. We are the Two Mics. We're live ahead of the cup final coming up, Manchester United against Southampton. We were talking earlier, Porky, about how it could be Southampton's day.
Well, could be.
I'm wondering if it might go to extra time, though. But let's hear from an expert, because Francis Benali is with the Moose, who's inside Wembley Stadium. Moose, a very good afternoon to you.
Well, Franny, first of all, what do you make of today? Southampton back at Wembley for the first time in the old Wembley, first time since '79.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. I mean, I remember '76 when we won and beat United back then. I was a young boy.
Old enough for that.
Oh yeah, I was about 7 years old. But the last League Cup final, '79, losing to Forest that day. I certainly hope we can, reverse those results and come away with the trophy today, because it's an incredible day. There's a real buzz driving up the M3, seeing the convoy of cars and coaches, the Saints supporters making their way to Wembley here today, and it's going to be a great day, and one I've got a good little feeling about today. I don't know what it is, but I certainly hope I'm right.
Well, I remember '76 as well. You were massive underdogs out there. I mean, you had good players, Peter Osgood, Mick Shannon, obviously Bobby Stokes scored the winning goal, but United were the big favourites, as indeed they probably are today, if not for the same reason, in different divisions, but they're still big favourites. Yeah,
and I think that's probably justified to a degree. They're unbeaten in 10, they've won 7, drawn 3. Their Premier League form is really good. I don't mind coming into the game as underdogs. I think we could surprise one or two. We need to play well, we need to defend well. Got to keep their big names quiet as well. And if they have a little bit of an off day, who knows?
Are you worried about our defence? They haven't conceded a goal, but arguably Jose Font, who is probably one of your best defenders, now at our place at West Ham, and it won't be playing today, so it's going to be a different centre-half partnership.
Yeah, it will. I mean, Claude Puel's got that choice of playing Jack Stevens and Maya Yoshida, or possibly bringing in Caceres, who's just been signed recently.
He hasn't played for a year.
I know, yeah. Which would, to most people say that he's probably not going to start. It'd be quite a curveball if he did. But Claude Puel's had a good look at the players, and he knows how the squad are and what his best lineup's going to be today. So I can't wait for the game to get going now.
And up front, I mean, we all know about Zlatan, and he's scored loads of goals. But Gabbiadini's arrived, and he looks a player.
He does indeed, yeah. 3 goals in the last 2 games. So, he's certainly staked his place for a starting place today. We can score goals. We know we're a threat. We've beaten Liverpool on 2 occasions in each of the semi-final legs. So I'm quietly confident today.
And finally, what would it mean for players, legends of the club like you and Matt, who's here today? I mean, what would it mean to actually see your club lift some silverware?
It's difficult to put into words. It would mean so much. I mean, as players ourselves, Matt and I tried to do our utmost to bring silverware back to Southampton. We weren't able to do that, unfortunately, but to be here as a former player, to see them lift the trophy today, there'll be a tear or two in my eye, that's for sure.
Have a good one.
Cheers, thank you.
Francis Benali there talking to the Moose.
Yes.
Mr. Parry will be coming back to this game in a moment, because there's been a goal at Norwich.
Wow.
Tony and Chenzo.
Norwich City 0, Ipswich Town 1. Jonas Knudsen, the scorer for Ipswich, totally against the run of play. There was a good cross from the right-hand side by Spence, and Knudsen, the left-back, arrived at the far post with a downward header which bounced up into the net. It's his 2nd goal of the season, both against Norwich City, and it's Norwich 0, Ipswich Town 1.
Knudsen. Isn't that one of the names from The Big Lebowski?
I'm not sure.
Knudsen, the name of the girl that got kidnapped.
You have to wrap your tongue around that. But anyway, look, our producer was just smiling broadly there, old Izzy, because she's an Ipswich fan.
That's not very nice.
Young Izzy.
I do
beg your pardon, yeah. She's an Ipswich fan, and they've gone 1 head. And of course, we have a bit of an association with Ipswich, don't we? Bearing in mind
no, we don't, actually.
Mr. Brazil is one of our colleagues.
No, the only association we have with Ipswich is that you have one of your many properties up there, where I don't even remember ever being invited.
No,
and in fact, I also don't even remember the last time you were up there.
Well,
I mean, how can you leave a place like empty for so long? Abandoned.
No. You've got to have property managers when you do this sort of thing.
Isn't that where you keep the rib, by the way?
Sorry,
well?
that's where I keep the rib. Yeah, that's right. That's by the way, that's not a spare rib. That's a boat.
No, that's it. No, let me just read you a couple of tweets that come in. You can tweet us at the Two Mikes, of course. Adam says this: Porky's off to a great start with Rodgers. Names, whatever. Who cares about names? We've sent out a video earlier and some pictures on our Twitter feed as well. We're live here at Wembley, and Cheese says this: they look like two really dodgy cops from a 1970s show who have nicked someone and then got off to the pub. Hashtag Sweeney Planks.
That is a bit harsh.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what one of the contentious issues is going to be today, right?
Yes.
Because, of course, semi-final hero was in fact Shane Long, wasn't it?
He was.
Scored the crucial goal and got them through to the Wembley now.
Yeah.
But we're all waiting for the team sheets, obviously, to find out which of the two managers, Claude Puel, Jose Mourinho, will announce their team first. And the response of the other manager, but it doesn't look like Shane Long will start. According to the experts that I'm talking to round here, it is going to be the £14 million Italian signing, Gabbiadini.
Oh, is that right? Well, he's not a bad player. He scored a couple of goals, isn't he?
Yeah. Terrific player. And since his arrival,
the other problem for Southampton is they're going to
the wing.
They're going to miss their big centre half, aren't they?
Yeah, they are going to miss their big centre half. But let me just finish about Gabbiadini.
I'm very sorry,
because you don't seem to want to know about him.
Well, you've told me he's playing, so what else do I need to know?
Well, he's kind of moved into the number 10 spot, you see.
Yeah.
And no, the number 10 spot actually will probably be occupied by the boy Dusan Tadic, who will probably get in there and supply for Gabbiadini.
Well, what number does he play with then? What number is he then?
What's a number?
Well,
what's a number?
I'm not a number, I'm a free man.
Exactly.
Now, I was saying earlier on it might well end up going to extra time. I've got a question for you. You're a veteran of how many Wembley Cup finals? You told me earlier that you came to 20 FA Cup finals in a row, didn't you?
Yeah.
Which is an extraordinary figure.
It is, yeah.
There can't be too many people who've done more than that.
No, exactly.
Steptoe says the League Cup used to be in better weather as well, because for many years, of course, it was played in April, and they moved it back into the end of February.
They tried to go sort of Scottish style and get the competition out of the way, so to speak, before the sort of what you call the business end of the season.
I've got a serious question to ask you about the performance of the pitch today at Wembley, because obviously it's very, very well manicured. It's kept very, very well indeed.
It is.
Spurs played here just the other night. So would it be a bit more dug up than it would normally be?
No.
Because a game was played so recently, and also if, for example, one of the teams would like to have the pitch watered, how do they decide whether to do that or not?
They leave it to the groundsman.
So I mean, the teams can't request watering the pitch.
No, definitely not. You can't have one team come in and look at it on Thursday and say it's too dry, water it, and then the other team comes in on Friday and it's too wet, dry it. I mean, you just can't do that. That's left to the grounds. You've got to remember the Wembley Stadium in itself, of course, independent company, and this is being rented today by the EFL.
We'll be talking to the chairman of the EFL coming up a little bit later on in the show.
We certainly will. But actually, about the pitch, you're absolutely right. I mean, the Wembley turf had legendary powers up until the early 70s, when some idiot allowed the International Horse of the Year show take place here, and it literally
smashed the year horse.
It smashed the place to pieces. It smashed all the irrigation.
Well, they've had that problem with the NFL games here as well, haven't they?
Sometimes, because of course it's a different request for what they have to do. But when it got smashed up, the first cup final that was played here after that was the famous Leeds-Chelsea one, when they virtually played on sand, which was 1971, I think, wasn't it? And
they never have that problem now, because they now use that sort of mesh, don't they? The interwoven fake grass with the real grass.
Absolutely. It is real grass, but it's enhanced by sort of plastic fibre implants. And so that's why the pitches recover so quickly.
Excellent stuff. Now, we're going to be talking to a whole bunch of people. The Mooses are roving around for us, catching some stars. I saw Lou Macari in the lobby of the hotel a little while ago.
What did he say to you?
He didn't say anything to me, because he was posing for a selfie. So I gave him a little wave, but he was very busy with fans. Nice to see so many people from the old days of football posing with the fans and giving the fans a great day out.
I tell you what's quite interesting as well, as we look here, we're at the Hilton Hotel, we're on the balcony on the 3rd floor.
In the bar.
Wembley Stadium, excuse me, don't worry about that.
Oh, hang on, there's been another goal at Norwich.
There's
another goal at Norwich, Tony.
Norwich City 1, Ipswich 1. The Canaries have equalised through Jacob Murphy. He cut along the edge of the box, hammered a low shot which beat the goalkeeper Bielkowski at the near post, and it's a 9th goal of the season for Jacob Murphy. It's Norwich 1, Ipswich 1.
Well, the game has suddenly come to life.
She's not smiling anymore.
Yeah, well, there's no need to mock. The game has still got plenty of time to go.
That's right.
Well, of course, the big game coming up for Spurs against Stoke 1:30 kickoff,
Massive.
right? We're going to be keeping you abreast of all of that. We'll give you the updates from that game as well. Spurs have to win this game, don't they?
Oh, yeah, of course they've got to win it. They've got to win every game now because the gap between them and Chelsea is so huge that unless Chelsea suddenly delve into like suicide mission defeat,
it's not going to happen, is it?
No, of course it's not. They're going to win the Premier League title. What I was going to say to you, Oz, before I was so rudely interrupted by that Norwich equaliser, was that we are clearly at the Southampton end of the stadium, because all I can see below me are just red and white striped shirts, voluminous.
Well, funny you should say that.
As far as the eye can see.
Well, red and white is generally the colour of both sides.
Well,
so I think you might be slightly
stripes.
deceiving yourself.
No.
Because when you see
the
red and
stripes
white,
are very distinctive.
No, when you see red and white, this bar, for example, is full of both sides. There's a man standing at the bar with a number 9 shirt on with Ibrahimovic on the back. Now down to your left as you look, where you can see the hamburger stand and the Wembley Library. That whole area there is a Manchester United fan zone.
Doesn't look like it to me.
Yes, it is.
Is it?
I saw the sign as we walked in.
Oh, I see. Right. Okay. Well, everybody on the.
So you're giving out a lot of misinformation.
No, I'm not. Everybody on the level below us, everybody on the Wembley level, the walk around the stadiums, I would call it. They're all Southampton shirts, without a shadow of a doubt.
Well, I wouldn't wish to be unkind to Manchester United fans, but perhaps they've got slightly less far to come.
Well, that's a bit harsh, isn't it? You're saying they all come from Surrey.
Yeah, they're all coming on the tube.
But nevertheless, you've got to remember what a huge day it is for Southampton, because they so rarely come here. I'm not belittling them by that. I mean, Everton don't come here as often as we'd like them to.
When was the last time Everton played at Wembley?
Everton played at Wembley. We lost.
Was it this century?
Yeah, it was definitely this century, mate. Yeah, we played in the semi-final, didn't we, 2 years ago, and unfortunately got
beaten by Liverpool.
Yes.
Yes. Sad to say that.
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't really mean to bring that one up.
No. That's okay.
Porky's been to 20 cup finals. How many has he paid a ticket for? Says Hells. That's a bit harsh.
No, I've actually been to more than 20 cup finals, but I went to 20 consecutive.
Yeah, he went to 20 consecutive.
I think that was from '86 till about 2006.
Yeah, which is a pretty amazing statistic, really.
And 5 or 6 of them, of course, were in Cardiff, because I remember I went to the last one here, and I went to the first one here. I went to the last game here. The last game here was England-Germany, and that was the famous occasion when Franz Beckenbauer, what did he call it?
The
Kaiser, thank you, signed my programme and said, to Mike, I mean, that was the last game. Did he
sign it Franz, or did he sign it the Kaiser?
He signed it Franz Beckenbauer, right? That was the last game at Wembley.
Right.
It was England versus Germany. What a memento to have. And guess what happened? Kevin Keegan suddenly resigned. I dashed out of the hospitality suite I was in to go and find all my people and get them moving on this story, and somebody nicked my programme.
Somebody nicked it?
Yeah.
Well, you see, you can't leave things lying around.
It wasn't there.
Anyway, we're running out of time, as ever. I told you, very short show this. We are live from Wembley, ahead, of course, of the live TalkSport commentary of the EFL Cup final, Manchester United against Southampton. Is Jose Mourinho going to start his big haul of trophies right here, right now, this afternoon? This is TalkSport. This is TalkSport. We are the two mics coming live from Wembley. We're just ahead of the EFL Cup final between Manchester United and Southampton, and we found a Southampton fan,
Well,
Lucy.
there's plenty of them here.
Very good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Lucy, thank you for joining us. It's very kind of you. I was having a chat with you earlier, and you pointed out to me the very dramatic revival of Southampton, and you're a lifelong Southampton fan in the last few years. I can't believe that you and your family members have got a scarf there. 2010, the Johnson Paint. Yeah, absolutely. Tell us all about that.
We had a fabulous day here. I came with my mum and dad, as I am here today as well.
Hello, mum and dad.
Lovely. Yeah.
And we have had some turbulent times, and that was the turn, I think. Marcus Lieber came in, he bought us. He was a shining star, and he helped us get back to where we are now. And our day out at Wembley has very special memories for us.
So just 7 years on from when you were in the third tier of English football, thinking, wow, this is our place in the sun. You really have found your place in the sun today.
We have. We've had some tricky times, recently. It's not been easy. We've got Pulin and...
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, nobody's actually poached him yet. Mike Parry's an Everton supporter, you see, and he poached your manager, Ronald Koeman, which must have been a little bit of a blow at the time, because we thought he was involved in a huge project there.
We did. I don't blame him for leaving, but since Pochettino left,
what's it got to do with you?
Well, it's nothing to do with you. Well, because he's now going to leave Everton and go to work for Barcelona. That's why he's upset.
Not at all. Lucy, what do you think of the prospects of your team today? Quite seriously, do you think you're on a par now with Manchester United?
Absolutely not. We are here for a great day out.
Yeah.
I hope with all my heart we play our socks out. we can, if we turn up and give a good performance, maybe we'll nick something. We probably won't, but I think all Southampton fans here are for a good day out, and we want to see our team play.
Is that the right sort of attitude to come to a final with, that we probably won't win?
Why?
Well, you know, you've got to believe beyond belief, haven't you?
I think Southampton, we're a very friendly club, we're a very honest club, and I think we are honest. Obviously, we'd all love to win. Come here and stuff Man United and do it.
Tell us a bit about your weekend. You're from Southampton area?
Yes, we drove up. We got the train up yesterday. We stayed here.
Is this the whole family? How many of you?
My mum and I came up yesterday, and the rest of the family have joined us today.
Okay, and you're staying in the Manchester United hotel?
Yeah, okay. Well, we didn't know that when we booked it.
It's okay. Yeah,
well, I mean, at least if Southampton win, you can hang around and taunt them, can't you? You're staying tonight as well.
That's right. Yeah, you're not with us anymore. Okay, well, it's great to see you, Lucy. Thank you very much, and to all your family for joining us and talking to us today. It's obviously a huge day out for you. It's made your season already, hasn't it?
Absolutely.
What else do you expect from Southampton in the near future?
Ooh. It's tricky. I think we've got some tough days ahead. We've got Gabardini, who hopefully will, put us right, and we need the strikers. We've lost Van Dijk, which is a big blow.
Of course.
We just got to hang on in there.
And do you feel a bit sorry for Shane Long, the hero of the semi-final?
Is he not starting?
Well, we don't know yet. We don't know. But I mean, there's a question mark over whether he will or not. What do you think?
I think he's a good impact player.
Oh, right.
So if he's on the bench and he comes on.
Impact player, that sort of means super sub, doesn't it?
Yeah, it certainly does. Well, hopefully we'll find out very soon whether he is playing or not. We'll let you know. So you'll get it ahead of everybody else.
Thank you very much.
Marvellous. Well, Lucy, have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much indeed. Send our best wishes to all your family, even though they're only sort of 5 yards away.
You can do that yourself.
Yeah, I could just over there. Myself. Thank you for joining us. I hope whatever the outcome today, you've had a smashing weekend, Lucy. And thank you for joining us on TalkSport.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, Steptoe has sent us a tweet here at the Two Mics. He said, with all these Man United fans around, Porky, you've missed a great chance to get total sales of Rooney Tunes doubled up to 20. I mean, you should have brought a whole stack of them along from the locked room. Put them over on the bar there.
No, that's
offered to sign them.
That's a bit harsh, isn't it? I mean, that's one reason why I'm hoping that Wayne might get over to China, because of course in China they've never seen Rooney Tunes. And when Wayne arrives, and there's a billion people in China.
There are a billion people.
If I got 1% of them to buy me a book, do you know how much I'd make?
Well, if you can sell a box of matches to everyone in China, you'd become an instant billionaire.
Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah.
Now, have you seen the other story about China, by the way? Because I've got to raise this with you.
Yeah.
We were accused the other day by some Newcastle fans of upsetting the apple cart up in Newcastle by suggesting that Rafa Benitez might be in the frame for the Leicester job,
that's right? Yeah.
But forget about Leicester. Apparently, he's in the frame for a China job.
Well,
and they're talking about offering. No, he is specifically though. They're going to give him £600,000 a week.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Can you imagine £600,000 a week?
Well, it must all be unsettling, Rafa, because of course they staggered to a 2-2 draw, didn't they, yesterday?
Yeah, they did.
And now, of course, they're in
Brighton
peril.
Back on top, aren't they?
Exactly, of not winning that championship.
It's getting a bit hot in the old championship, isn't it, at the moment?
They thought was theirs. Now, listen, the other great story knocking around this morning, which I think is quite sensational.
Yeah.
I mean, all we've been talking about for the last 3 or 4 days is Leicester and Mr. Ranieri.
Jamie Vardy seems to be very certain that he had absolutely nothing to do with getting Ranieri kicked out.
And Mr. Schmeichel, the goalkeeper,
do you think he protests a bit too much?
Well, he just said, look, of course I talked to the owners and they want to talk to us, but never at any stage have I sort of put the boot in for the manager. But the most interesting thing, and again, by the way, young Robbie Savage, right?
Yes.
Found time on his own airwaves to talk about my idea that Claudio Ranieri should have been sacked last summer.
What are you talking about?
Well, I'm talking about, it was my idea, and now it's been picked up by other people. That the Claudio Ranieri should have gone last summer.
Yeah,
right?
I believe his reference was to a journalist who he didn't name, who had a ridiculous idea, the like of which he'd never heard before, which was that Leicester should have fired him. Which I wasn't mentioning you in glowing terms at all.
It's a bit of media jousting. Yeah. But anyway, the other one that I raised, right, I said that Nigel Pearson had done an awful lot to build the Leicester team that went on to win the Premier League.
You did say that.
Even though he'd left the club.
Yeah.
There's a few Sunday newspaper headlines around today saying Nigel Pearson on his way back to Leicester.
Hang on, I mean, since when did the players get to pick who they think the manager should be? That's the most ridiculous idea I've ever heard.
You're very right to raise that question, because within those reports it says the players would be delighted if Nigel Pearson came back.
But why should they have any say in it?
As most of them owe their careers to Pearson and the way he built the team before Mr. Ranieri
Not really,
got there.
because Pearson got the boot, right, and just about saved them from relegation.
Yeah.
He did not have anything to do with getting them more money, getting them all sorts of bonuses, and getting them to win the Premier League.
Well, you say that,
Pearson
but obviously
Pearson that kind of manager.
Obviously, the players think that they can do it for Mr. Pearson because Nigel Pearson put them together.
What about the incident in Thailand?
Well, I think you've got to gloss over that because I think that involved his son. His son's no longer with the club. Nigel Pearson might want to come back.
Very sordid incident.
We shouldn't get into that because that's history. Well, it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant.
So it's irrelevant. So the fact
I think
his son disgraced his father, who was manager of the club, disgraced the name of the club, disgraced the religion and indeed the ethnicity of the club chairman.
I think it is absolutely
that's going
relevant.
to be forgotten about.
Now listen, we've talked a lot about Southampton. We've interviewed Lucy, a delightfully sparkling Southampton fan.
Sparkling.
Thanks for talking, Lucy. But we haven't yet discussed the position regarding Manchester United. We need to talk about that.
We've got to talk about that, but we've also got to find out what's happening over at White Hart Lane. Jake Robson is there for Talk Sport. Jake.
Hello, 11 minutes gone here. Spurs 0, Stoke City 0. Both teams just sizing each other up in the opening exchanges. Tottenham certainly having the better of the play so far, making good headway down the flanks. Walker whipped in a teasing cross a little earlier on that no one managed to get on the end of, and then Eriksson did exactly the same. He turned Shawcross inside out on the left-hand side. He drilled the ball across the goal. No one there. Tottenham with the best home defence in the Premier League, only conceding 5 so far this season, and at the moment it doesn't look like that is in any danger of changing. 11 gone here at the Lane. Spurs 0, Stoke 0.
Jake, thank you very much indeed. We're also, of course, keeping an eye on Carrow Road. Tony Incenzo is at Norwich Ipswich. Tony.
Yes, it's still Norwich 1, Ipswich 1. The Canaries have gone close a couple of times in the last few minutes. A couple of great saves from Bielkowski in goal for the Tractor Boys. Firstly, from a fierce effort by Alex Tettey, which Bielkowski punched over the crossbar. And then moments ago, substitute Pritchard with a low drive. Again, the keeper was a match for that. It's Norwich City 1, Ipswich Town 1.
Tony, thank you very much indeed. We're going to talk about Manchester United coming up very shortly. We've also got a very interesting beer festival to mention a little bit later on in the show as well. Lots going on here. We are live at Wembley. That's just a couple of hours away, really, from the opening start of all the business that goes around.
Actually.
Yeah, but before the game starts, there'll be all sorts of things going on, won't there?
Yeah.
People will be in the stadium. They'll be enjoying the pre-match publicity, the razzmatazz and all that. The place is starting to fill up. We are live on Talk Sport with the two mics.
Yep.
Now, you want to talk about Manchester United, so what do you want to tell me about it?
Well, all I'm saying is, for Manchester United, is this the start of the return to the glory days? Or if it goes wrong today, is that a massive blip?
Well, I don't think it's anything really other than the beginning of something, right? I think if it goes wrong and Southampton win, it'll be a much bigger thing for Southampton than it will be a setback for Jose Mourinho. Yeah. But you'd expect Jose Mourinho, who is a veteran of so many finals, both in the Champions League, in the FA Cup, in the League Cup as well. Right. You would expect him to have this absolutely down pat. Tactically, he should be fine. He's got a couple of injuries.
Yeah, I agree.
Ibrahimovic is going to be... Will Rooney get a game? I mean, that's the other interesting question, isn't it?
Well, the other issue with Manchester United is if they win and Rooney doesn't get a game, he, as far as Jose is concerned, he is able to go up as captain of the club and pick up the trophy. What he's done is he's actually...
Well, a bit like John Terry.
No, because John Terry obviously, put all the kit on and all that kind of stuff. I mean, Wayne Rooney, if he doesn't start, will be on the bench. Yeah. If he's on the bench and he doesn't come on, then he'll be an unused sub. But he'll still have his Manchester United kit on. And the general understanding is that he will go up and lift the trophy. But the players themselves apparently have to decide this in the dressing room, because whoever's the captain on the day has to concede and say to Wayne, go and get the cup. You see what I mean?
And that could be tricky, couldn't it? Well, what about this scenario?
I don't think so. I think most professionals would. I mean, what Jose has said, is that he said he has been a magnificent captain and he is a magnificent leader of Manchester United. So he's kind of tipped the wink to his players. Look, if we win and Wayne comes on, he wants to pick up that trophy. I mean, they're basically kind of saying...
Has he been talking to Gareth Southgate? Because Gareth Southgate said this about Rooney in England, didn't he? He said he will still be the England captain, whether he's playing or not.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
which is very odd.
If that's the title and you are, controller of the armband, that's what it's like. But it makes me wonder whether this is a sort of, will this be Wayne's last opportunity to lift a trophy at Wembley?
Did you read the piece in one of the papers this morning that said that one of the reasons he decided not to take up the Chinese offer at this particular juncture is that he wants to try and beat Peter Shilton's record and get even more caps for England?
You're right.
Now, isn't that a bit unrealistic?
Well, no, he's got 119 at the moment. Now, if he had only just got past the 115, which was the previous record, Beckham's outfield record, you'd say another 10, perhaps not. But another 6 is not impossible at all.
No, I can't see him getting 6 more caps for England at this point.
I'll tell you what I thought was very interesting. I've been looking in detail at the way these teams prepare for these games.
That's very good of you.
Yeah. Now Zlatan Ibrahimovic, right?
Well said.
I think he's the world's most successful footballer. I think he's won the league at every club he's ever gone to.
Do you know what upsets me most about whenever you talk about Zlatan Ibrahimovic? You and I had a conversation when it was announced that he was coming to Manchester United.
Yes.
You said that he was going to be over the hill. You said that he was going to be of no use really in the Premier League. And I said to you, he will be the new Cantona for Manchester United.
Yeah.
And he has been, because he's like a talisman.
Yes.
He's got this kind of amazing character.
Yeah, but I said that as well.
But no, you did not. People love him, right? And people are now starting to say, and write, that he is having a Cantona-like effect on Manchester United.
I said he would, in fact, be the
No, you didn't. You said the complete opposite.
That would get Manchester United.
You said the complete opposite.
Look at that. Look at it. From our balcony here, I've just seen one of those stretch Hummers. Now, who is shameless enough to be able to come to a Wembley final in a stretch Hummer?
And it's a sort of beigey bronze colour as well.
Revolting vehicle.
Or maybe it's just a hen party that happens to be passing. They're taking a wrong turning.
I doubt it very much indeed. But those stretch Hummers, you wouldn't get me in a stretch Hummer like that.
No, they're too high up.
But that puts me on to the next point I'm going to make about Zlatan, Ibrahimovic.
How's it you've got a much better view than me, by the way? I'm looking out at a sort of building site here.
That's right,
There's nothing going on over there.
No.
You've got a great view of the Manchester United fan zone. You can see the Wembley Library.
That's right.
You can see all the way down. It's, by the way, called Olympic Way now. It's not Wembley Way anymore.
That's right. But you know, it's always been called Olympic Way. But the fans call it Wembley Way. That's because I'm all seeing. But listen, I've got this great. I've unearthed this great information, right?
Oh, yeah.
Now, Zlatan has a Ferrari, which is
only one.
The car. Well, I'm about to tell you, the one that he used to sort of drive around in.
Yeah.
But he also has a £700,000 Porsche.
Really?
Which is one of the
700,000.
one of the most expensive cars on earth. But do you know what he drives around in now?
What does he drive around?
He drives around in now in a second-hand Volvo.
Does he?
Because the seat in the Volvo.
Well, he is from Sweden, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Of course, he is. Yeah, it's so good for his back that I think he's actually talked to Volvo, as you quite rightly say, are the car makers of his nation, who've made this special seat for him, so that his back at all times is perfectly postured and perfectly supported.
Yes.
And he's given up
driving.
driving.
That's very important, isn't it?
He's given up driving the Ferrari and the Porsche because he says at the age he is he 34? It's elongating his ability to play on.
Well, I'm sure that's true, because I mean those cars are like, you're getting into a Porsche or a Ferrari. You've got to sort of squeeze yourself
down.
in, haven't you? And he's a very big guy. He's very tall.
He's very tall, and I know what it's like getting into a sort of a chic sports car, because of course my Mercedes 2-door 3.5 litre Sport is that very car.
Fast
you know what I mean?
back, even though design-wise it's in the last century.
No, not at all.
Unfortunately for you.
Now, when we look at who's leading,
why don't we have a race, by the way? Why don't we go down to Brands Hatch or something and have a race?
What for?
So that I can show you what a useless car you've got.
Oh, don't be ridiculous. You couldn't live with me. You've only got a 2-litre car.
Doesn't matter. My car will kill your car at any pace you wish.
A Chelsea tracked Jag. But anyway, look, we mustn't talk about ourselves, because it's all about the EFL finals today.
It is all about that.
Now, looking at the stats, the statistics, okay?
I thought you were going to burst in a song there.
Lukaku.
No, Lukaku's not here.
No, but he scored again yesterday, and that puts him top.
Why are we talking about Everton? You just said we were talking about the cup final.
I'm talking about Zlatan. And what I'm going to say to you about Zlatan is, if you look at all the facts, Zlatan is on top, because you know why?
Why?
He scores a goal every 130 minutes.
Yes.
Romelu.
Yes.
Lou. Scores a goal every 131 minutes 4 seconds.
Oh right, so they're quite close then.
Very close indeed.
Who's the top of that particular league?
Zlatan.
So he's the guy that scores the quickest goals in the Premier League.
No, he scores more goals per minute, so to speak.
Right.
And Romelu just behind him. But the other issue is, in all competitions, Zlatan's got 24.
Yeah.
Romelu's got 18. But
that would be
18,
because Romelu's not in any competition.
In the Premier League.
Right.
Assists, Zlatan's got 6 assists.
Yeah.
Romelu 5 assists. So
what have you turned into Stato or something?
No, but we are talking here.
I'm not interested in all these statistics being rolled.
We
off
are
the
talking
tongue.
here about two of the world's great strikers. One of them is on show today at Wembley.
Yeah.
The other
one of them isn't.
The other one
isn't.
The other one hopefully will, of course, take his place at the top table very soon.
By the way, somebody has tweeted in earlier to say you're a plank, because it was 2016 the last time Everton were here at Wembley.
I said that.
And they got beaten by Manchester United.
I said that.
No, you didn't. You said they got beaten by Liverpool.
That was the cup semi-final before.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
so
Manchester United was 2016.
Yeah. Were you here for that?
I was here for that.
Were you?
Yes, I was, yeah.
You remember
I was here for all of Everton's big games.
Really?
Of course I was, yeah.
Excellent. Okay.
In fact, my first cup
amazed
final,
you forgot it then.
I don't know whether I've ever told you.
Seen the time. When
my
we got
first
time
cup
for this?
final was 1966.
How old were you then?
How old was I then? I was about 8 or 9. And it was the famous cup final in which we beat Sheffield Wednesday 3-2.
OK, thank you very much indeed. Now, it's full time at Carrow Road. Let's hear from Tony and Chenzo.
It's finished. Norwich City 1, Ipswich Town 1, honours even in a fiercely fought Old Farm derby. Ipswich took the lead against the run of play on 62 minutes when Jordan Spence crossed from the right and Jonas Knudsen headed down and into the right-hand corner for Knudsen, his second goal this season, both in these local derbies. Then 6 minutes later, Jacob Murphy levelled for Norwich with a powerful low shot from 20 yards that swerved through the hands of goalkeeper Bielkowski. The Canaries piled on the pressure after that, but Bielkowski redeemed himself with a string of fine saves from Tetty, Pritchard and Dykes. It finished Norwich City 1, Ipswich 1.
Tony, thank you very much indeed. Live games going on all over the place, of course. White Hart Lane, Spurs and Stoke. Harry Kane's already scored. Jake, what's going on?
24 minutes gone, still Spurs 1, Stoke 0. It should be 1-1, I have to say. Peters' cross met by Crouch just a few moments ago, 6 yards out. Brilliantly saved by Hugo Lloris in the Spurs goal. And a little before that, 3 minutes in fact, on the 19th minute gone, Whelan, he's very lucky to still be on the pitch. He could well have seen a red for a studs up, off the ground, very late challenge on Jan Vertonghen. Referee John Moss just seeing a yellow to be fit enough. But a lot of shaken heads around me in the press box here, and the Spurs fans very unhappy at Moss's decision. 25 gone here at the Lane. Spurs 1, Stoke 0.
Jake, thank you very much indeed. We've got loads more coming up in the next hour. We're going to be speaking to the boss of the EFL organisation.
Yes.
Also, I've got a tweet here from Wrong Star who says Porky's got more chance of selling bags of rice in China than copies of Rudy Tunes.
What?
But we'll come back to some of the other tweets in a
mad?
moment. We're the two mics. We're live at Wembley. This is Talk Sport.
Hero Farmers, save baby. Hero Farmers, save baby.
On my way to see my friends, a little couple blocks away from me. As I walk through the subway,
Nice little tune, eh, Porky?
Huh?
Gets you dancing a little bit.
Yeah,
A bit,
absolutely
get a bit
marvellous.
Jiggy with it.
Now, who's this?
This is Craig David.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
And it's 7 days, right?
Something like that.
Yeah, no, I spotted the record immediately.
Did you?
Why are we playing this?
Because Craig David's a massive Southampton
He
fan.
certainly is,
He's
yeah.
actually from Southampton.
He
He's
is.
a genuine celebrity
Yes.
Southampton fan.
Yes, absolutely.
Unlike John Hurt, as we said, was an Everton fan. It
Yeah,
turned out he was
right.
actually a Norwich City
He's a
fan.
Norwich fan, yeah, but, you know, these things
I
happen.
imagine Craig David will be somewhere in the environs of Wembley right
well,
now.
you would hope so, wouldn't you? Because if
we
he's
find
a,
him,
if he's
if
a
anybody spots
dedicated
him-
fan, he should be there.
If anyone spots him, we want you to tell him to give us a call, 08717 22 3344, because we want to talk to Craig David about Southampton's hopes this afternoon. We are live, of course, at Wembley.
Absolutely right. Have you ever been to Southampton?
I have been to Southampton, yes.
Yeah, what were you doing there?
In fact, the last time I went there was quite a few years ago. I was
Yes.
taking my parents down to the QE2. They
right,
were taking
okay.
a voyage from the Southampton QE2 base over to New York.
Yes, okay.
Because I used to, in my the latter stages of them living in this country, quite often pay for them to go places.
Oh, didn't you?
You know,
Well,
my
why
childhood.
didn't you work it with the PRs at Cunard? I did.
Well, no, because I don't believe in getting something for nothing. What I did do was get them upgraded.
I don't believe getting something for nothing.
No, I don't. There's a goal of Spurs. I'm
Yes,
afraid we won't be able to
goal of
continue
Spurs,
this conversation. Jake.
Yeah.
36 minutes gone, it's another goal, it's Harry Kane, it's Tottenham 3, Stoke 0, a second hat-trick in 3 games for the Spurs striker. He can't stop scoring, and it's another one off the training ground, a free kick for Spurs in the middle of the Stoke area, about 35 yards out. Flicked to Kane by Ericsson, and he's just drilled it in. I think it took a deflection, but the Stoke goalkeeper Grant left flat-footed, and Harry Kane has another hat-trick. 36 minutes gone, it's Spurs 3, Stoke 0.
Wow. I mean, what has happened to Stoke?
I don't know, but what's happened to Harry Kane? He's on fire, isn't he?
He absolutely is. I mean, Stoke used to be quite a good defensive unit, didn't they?
Well, I was in the Tony Pulis days.
No. Mark Hughes had almost drilled them pretty well in that way.
Sure. Oh, I'm not. I'm not.
They're in danger of dropping into the bottom half of the table.
Mark Hughes' abilities, but no. Getting back to Southampton.
Yeah. Now, why were you saying and laughing that I don't believe in getting something for nothing? Because what I didn't finish saying was that I got them upgraded to a stateroom, which means that instead of being in a sort of rather dingy cabin,
with a porthole,
with portholes, you have a proper room, with proper beds and proper windows.
Yes, that's right.
Which is much nicer, to be honest.
Yeah, but no, I was just saying when you say you never take favours or anything like that.
No,
I don't believe in any wine lately.
I'm saying I don't believe in getting something for nothing.
No, of course you don't believe in getting something. You ever ordered any wine lately?
I order wine frequently.
Yeah, do you? Yeah.
But not from, of course, Hedonism Wines, we were talking about yesterday, where, of course, Jose Mourinho frequently goes.
When the wine arrives, it's all good stuff, is it?
It's great stuff. I bought some very expensive stuff just the other day.
Excellent. Now, listen, what I want to tell you about Southampton is that I, too, embarked on the QE2 from Southampton.
Did you?
Takes 6 days to get over the
Atlantic. For one?
Well, I don't want to go into that because actually...
Did you take someone with you?
Well, one of the reasons that I was on the boat was because I was at the time rather friendly with a very lovely young PR lady from Cunard.
Yes.
And
I'm not too sure about the hand gestures there.
What?
I'm not too sure what you were doing there.
What do you mean? I was just
a family show this year.
No, that'd be ridiculous.
Yes.
Now, what I was going to say is that I remember distinctly that where we left from, I mean, the shed that you come out of to get on the QE2 was corrugated iron. It was dilapidated.
I mean, I seem to remember that you drive for a very, very long way, all the way through this kind of container port, before you get to where the ship goes from.
I agree.
But I mean, Southampton as a city, a friend of mine actually went to university there, and they have a very good law school, and the city itself is rather nice.
There was a band, right, as the QE2 set off. I mean, you talk about the Titanic going down and the band playing.
It's not really what you want to talk about when you're setting off on the Cunard ship, is it?
No, but I'm not joking. There was like a 3-man band on the quayside. They were all really geriatric blokes who you didn't know were going to make it to the last note, honestly, playing a double bass.
Charming.
And a violin and a trumpet or something. And I thought it was rather a pathetic way for anybody
What music were they playing?
Oh,
They weren't playing the same... I hope they weren't playing the same music as they did play on the Titanic.
No, of course not. But what I'm saying is, when I arrived in New York on the QE2...
What was it, Pier 42 it used to come into, wasn't it?
63 or something like that, whatever. But I mean, the magnificence of arriving, because, as dawn came up, I got a knock on the door from, one of the captain's guys. He said, come and see this. And we went under the Verrazano Bridge.
Oh, yes.
As the mist was coming up in dawn. It was the most spectacular entry you can make to any city in the world.
Yeah.
And then this fantastic pier we got off at. And I just thought, any Americans who got on the QE2 in Britain to come back would be solely and largely disappointed.
Well, how about if you came the other way and you arrived in Southampton docks?
I
Mind
agree.
you, there can be very few places as incredible as Manhattan to land in on a boat.
That's absolutely true. When you're coming up the old Narrows and all that kind of stuff.
I'm off over there very shortly.
Yeah, you are, I know, and I've decided to take a few days off.
Have you?
They wanted me to do the show on my own and see it through the night and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I said no.
Too difficult for you.
I will take some time. The other great thing about Southampton is that when you get to Southampton railway station, you can either come out on the left and go into the town, which, by the way, you said that your mate went to university there, is now a massive student town, huge blocks of, apartments.
Have you got some slum landlord activity going on there?
No, I haven't actually, no.
You sure?
No, not at all.
Why not?
Mind you, I'm very worried about what's going to happen in the forthcoming budget, because unless they revoke these ridiculous new punitive charges on mortgages that you have on buy-to-let property, there's going to be a problem.
Why don't you have a word with Tom Watson, the deputy leader of the Labour Party, because he's just got £500,000 from Max Mosley.
That's right.
A man who likes to have interesting parties.
Anyway, when you get off in Southampton, which of course are one of the teams playing here today at Wembley.
One of them, yeah.
If you go out of the station on the right instead of on the left, you actually get to where the cruise ships are. Have you ever seen the size of a cruise ship? They are massive. They're huge.
You're telling me the station is right next to the quayside?
Right next to the quayside.
I didn't see that when I was there.
Well, you came out the wrong side of the station. And let me tell you this. You think your parents went on a big ship on the QE2. The QE2 is 1/3 the size of today's cruise liners, which are massive.
Yeah, I know.
Massive.
You still haven't told me who you went on the trip with.
I told you.
You went on your own?
No. I told you.
No,
that
you took someone with you?
Due to a friendship with a lady who was a member of the PR team at Cunard.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I was on the ship, OK?
It wasn't the one we all knew in New York, was it?
No, it was not. No. No. She was British-based.
OK.
And I have to say, charming company. That's all I can tell you.
Very good.
Right.
Now, we've got lots more to do, but we are running rapidly out of time. It's getting very full up here in the bar at the Hilton.
We're going to talk to the boss of...
We're going to talk to the boss of the whole tournament, right?
We're going to talk to a Manchester United fan or two.
Yes, we are.
We're going to talk to a lad who knows what he's talking about, Mark Ogden from the Telegraph.
Yes.
Who's a northern correspondent.
He might have an update for us on what's going on at Leicester, by the way.
He might have
because we need to talk some more about that, I believe. Now, let's get another update from White Hart Lane, which sounds to me like it's game over. Jake.
It could well be game over. It's 3 minutes till half-time. It's Spurs 3, Stoke 0. Harry Kane with a first-half hat-trick. And as you say, there isn't really much being shown from Stoke here so far in the first half. A stern team talk's going to be needed, you feel, at half-time. I'll run you through the goals. Kane finishing off a well-worked move 13 minutes in. Ali and Eriksson combining well, and Kane smashing in from the right-hand side of the penalty area. His second and Spurs' second came 13 minutes later. Eriksson's cross from a corner. It was one of those ones off the training ground, really. His cross from the corner found Kane on the edge of the area. He picked him out, and Kane with his left foot on the volley, smashing in past Grant in his far right-hand corner. And his and Tottenham's third coming 8 minutes before the break. A free kick off the one fresh off the training ground again. Eriksson just poking it into the path of Kane, and he smashed in from about 30 yards out. 3 minutes to go to half-time here. It's Spurs 3, Stoke 0.
Thanks very much indeed, Jake. Jim has tweeted us. He says, have the years of bladderation taken their toll on Porky's memory? He more or less wrote Zlatan off when United signed it. Hashtag play. See, the listeners remember the things that you can't, which is actually in many ways a kind of care in the community scenario. This is Talk Sport. More from the two mics live at Wembley. Next. This is the two mics. We are live at Wembley, ahead, of course, of the EFL Cup final, Manchester United against Southampton. That's live as well right here with Adrian Durham. We've got Gary, the Man United fan, with us. We're going to talk to him in a moment. But first, we're going to go to Russell Hargreaves, who's down at Twickenham, where the game against Italy with England might be almost as one-sided as Spurs against Stoke at White Hart Lane, Russell.
I think you might be spot on there, Mike. Another win for the Grand Slam defending champions here this afternoon. We'll put England 3 points clear at the top of the table, and you bang on. Few would bet against Eddie Jones's boys, achieving exactly that. The English having won all 22 tests they played against the Azzurri, and of course they're in the midst of that national record run of 16 consecutive victories as well. Now, the former England fly-half Andy Goode is alongside me this afternoon. Goode, massive ask for the Italians. They've lost their last 9 Six Nations games. Not going to be easy.
No, it certainly isn't, and you can pretty much write it off now as 10 Six Nations games on the spin without a victory. Listen, their coaching panel in terms of Conor O'Shea and Mike Catt and Brendan Venter, quality guys with great experience, but the playing pool just isn't enough to compete with England today, and I expect a really big score from England and a massive performance. 4
changes from both teams. Full reaction from Andy and myself in the rugby show across on TalkSport 2 from 5:15, but it's a 3 o'clock kick-off at Twickenham for England against Italy.
Thanks very much indeed, Russell. Now back to the football, of course, because Wembley's starting to fill up now. The fans are going into the stadium. Just across from us here, Porky, we're joined by Gary. Gary, thank you very much indeed for joining us. I see that you've got a celebratory shirt on already.
Yeah, I bought it on the way down this morning.
Where'd you come from?
Come from Carlisle, but originally from Alston.
Okay. Yeah, Carlisle, that's a hell of a long journey, isn't it, down to Wembley Stadium. Let me just read out what it says on the front of your shirt. EFL Cup Final, Manchester United vs Southampton, Wembley Stadium, 2017. Have you got a collection of these?
Got 1 or 2. I like the old retro shirts. I keep them. I've got a collection, yeah.
Right, do you? Retro.
Have you got one of those old... I used to have a Manchester United shirt when I was a kid with the white V.
That's right.
And a little collar.
Well,
that's one of those.
That's back to sort of Munich days.
It was George Best, really.
Yeah.
George Best.
Well, no, George Best played in those were red shirts with a white round collar.
Yeah, no, but he also played in those as well.
Yeah, sure.
That was when I started supporting him.
Anyway, listen, tell us about how you think the game's going to go today.
We need an early goal.
An early goal? Why?
We've struggled all season when we haven't scored earlier. We've just been ground down. We've put pressure on late in the game. We need an early goal. If we get an early goal, it'll be a walk in the park.
And do you want to see Wayne Rooney get a game, or what's your position on him?
Definitely. Yeah, he's been here. He's done everything he's a big player. Big games need big players, and Wayne Rooney's a big player. Doesn't matter what anybody says.
I would have thought the solution to who picks up the cup is that if you're leading 2-0 and there's 10 minutes to go, you bring Rooney on, don't you?
I want to see him start.
You want to see him start?
I do.
Oh,
I think you've been a bit presumptuous there, Porky. I mean, nobody's telling you that anybody's going to pick up the cup yet.
No,
you know,
no,
90 minutes of football to go. Southampton are no pushover.
Of course they're no pushover, but I'm saying if they were 2-0 up and Rooney was brought on, he would then be captain on and off the pitch and he'd pick up the trophy. But you want him to start. Do you want him also to stay at the end after the end of this season?
Where do you go from Manchester United?
Well,
Real Madrid.
No,
they don't want him.
no, he'd go to America or he'd go to China. We spoke to a chap from the Daily Telegraph earlier, said he thinks it's going to be America. But nevertheless, you feel he has a part to play in Manchester United in the future?
Yeah, I like to see the top players stop at the clubs till the end of the playing career instead of going to lesser football.
No, I totally
go
agree.
out at the top.
I'm Rooney's biggest fan. I'm an Evertonian.
Yeah.
I saw him play when he was 14. You know, I've got his boots from one of his early games. I agree with you. Nevertheless, Jose seems determined to change things, so they're going to change, aren't they?
At the start of the season, I would have said definitely not. But the players we've got coming through, and I can see him dwindling out. I really can.
Okay.
And what's the fans' view? Because obviously you'll be talking to lots of guys on the way down, and when you go to games and stuff. I mean, what is the view of Jose Mourinho? Is everyone happy with what he's doing?
I wanted him as soon as Sir Alex left.
I totally agree with you.
It was wasted two or 3 years
I totally agree. He's the best manager in the world. He had the best record in the world. He's won 2 Champions League trophies with 2 different clubs. He's got to make the third yours, hasn't he?
Big clubs need big managers, need big players.
And big personalities.
And Manchester United need a few more big players, don't they? Isn't that the truth for next season?
I think they need Griezmann. I'm praying that we'll get him next year. And maybe another influential midfield player.
What about Ibrahimovic? How do you think he's done for you? And is he going to do it again next season?
I hope so. But I think he's proved a lot of people wrong this year. And maybe another year might be a bit too much. I don't know.
Okay. You have got his name on the back of your shirt, so
exactly.
you'll have to get another shirt, won't you?
That's why we thought you were a big fan.
I've got plenty of shirts.
You've got plenty of shirts? Plenty of United shirts. How many have you got?
Oh, 30.
30 United shirts. Where do you keep them all?
In my garage.
Really? Yeah. What, you hang them up?
No, do you think he keeps them?
I've got them in suitcases.
Put them in a drawer.
You've got them in suitcases?
Yeah.
No good in suitcases, man. You've got to put them on mannequins. Get yourself
You mean mannequins?
Get yourself a load of mannequins, put them on, and make the mannequins revolve. So you've got the front and the back of the shirt, okay? It only cost you about 20 grand. That's all right, isn't it?
A few lenses of fire, well, put towards it.
Porky's got 30 shirts exactly the same as well. They all look like that, striped, a bit worn at the cuffs, never ironed, terrible business. Absolutely horrendous.
What's a ridiculous point to make?
Anyway, listen, Gary, do you know where you're sitting inside the stadium?
Yeah, I'm just sitting by the corner flag in United and by the fans. I had a chance of a Club Wembley ticket, but I'd rather be amongst the fans.
Really? Well, hang on, we're looking at Club Wembley from here.
Yeah.
Now, that's a load of booze and food 2 or 3 hours before the game. Are you a man who turns that sort of thing down?
I'm not a prawn cocktail man,
He's here for the football, Porky.
Yeah.
You see, he loves it up there. He loves going up there. I'm with you. I'd much rather be in the fan area watching it.
You've hardly
like
ever
every
been to
other
a football game in your life.
I've been to loads of football matches. It's just more lies that you put out just to try and turn people in your favour.
Goes to football games when I take him.
Absolute rubbish.
Gary, I want to say thanks very much for joining us today. May the best team win today. Yeah. Hope you have a great day
Got
out,
a
whatever
prediction
happens.
for us?
Yeah, I've got a prediction for you.
Go on.
3-0 United.
3-0. Wow, that's a very confident man.
That's the most confident fan we've heard so far. Well, Gary, listen, good luck. Yeah. Thank you very much indeed. We are we're just moments away really from going over to a Sunday exclusive and match, and of course the live coverage of the game, which kicks off at 4:30. We are the Two Mikes. We're live right here at Wembley. Porky, this has gone very well.
Yes.
We've got some people who want to say hello to us. If we could ask you just to hang on for a second, because we haven't quite finished the radio show yet.
Yes.
But you'll be hanging around here for a bit, taking up the atmosphere, watching, as you say, all the people going in and out of the stadium.
Well, obviously.
It's a wonderful thing to see, isn't it?
Obviously, of course it is. And not only that, you get whipped up in the atmosphere of it. Look, you don't have to be a fan of Manchester United or Southampton to appreciate the magnificence of the event, because when you've got 100,000 people, 90,000, 91,000 will be here today, coming together to celebrate a sporting festival, only a stone of heart couldn't
isn't it weird,
appreciate,
though, right?
the gloriousness, the magnificence of it.
Isn't it weird, though, right? We're looking forward to a great game here. We expect both teams to play pretty well, right? And to be pretty close.
Yeah.
Spurs are over at White Hart Lane, slaughtering Stoke, right? 4-0 up. They can't play here. What's wrong with them? Why can't Spurs play at Wembley?
We've been through all that, and it's all about the players and their reaction to their environment, isn't it? I mean, we don't understand it. We're not professional footballers, but that appears to be what it's all about. Big decision.
Says this.
Big decision for Spurs on what they do next season.
Glotey says this. It's a good job you had that Man United fan on, otherwise I would not have had a chance to hear Mike Parry's opinions all over what he was trying to say.